The story revolves around a female Army officer who becomes the first woman to join the U.S. Navy SEAL training. Despite her superiors' doubts, she proves everyone wrong by passing the test while several men quit. The movie opens as a Senate Armed Service Committee interviews retired Army officer Theodore Hayes for the post of Secretary of the Navy. The topic being discussed at the moment is the limited role women are given in the Navy, and Hayes tries to defend this stance. Suddenly, Lillian DeHaven, a senator from Texas presiding over this hearing, interrupts Hayes' half-hearted speech. She contradicts his points and says that the Navy's attitude towards women in the Army as a whole has been historically bad. To prove her point, she brings out a classified file named the Lark Report and hands its copies to all the members of the hearing. The senator presses on with her findings and begins reading excerpts from the report. It contains recorded statements from high-ranking Navy officials who seem to portray women soldiers as less competent, as well as frequently passing misogynistic remarks. In the aftermath of this explosive hearing, the Navy immediately calls for a private meeting with DeHaven. She agrees to the meeting and soon sits down with officials from the Department of Defense or DoD in her office. However, the people from the DoD are strictly against letting women in the Navy and have come up with a plan to foil DeHaven's attempts. They present her with an integration plan that says that if a woman trainee is able to pass any evaluation program set by the Navy, they will allow her to join their ranks. DeHaven realizes that it is a trap, as the DoD will pick the hardest training program for the female cadet and make an example out of her. But she agrees to it anyway, as she knows that the buzz created by this program will only help her career. Outside the Senate office, the DoD officials meet with Hayes and discuss which program they should select for DeHaven's female trainee. They agree on the U.S. Navy Combined Reconnaissance Team, or CRT, a grueling selection program in which almost 60% of candidates quit before the fourth week, with the third week being particularly intensive and labeled as Hell Week. These male officials firmly believe that no women would make it past the first week. The scene shifts to a naval satellite monitoring room where topographic analyst Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill is working on bringing home a SEAL team from an active war zone. The control room has lost contact with the team, and one official suggests sending additional support to get them out, but this process will take 18 minutes, as the additional support team will require that much time to reach the predetermined rescue point. On the other hand, O'Neill proposes changing the pickup point altogether. She points out that the SEAL team is made up of experienced soldiers who will look for safer exits from the war zone. Thus, even if the direct communication to the team has broken down, they should look for a newer rescue site. She then quickly analyzes the satellite images of the area and pinpoints an area that will cut the rescue time by half. Her plan is given the green light, and exactly after 9 minutes, the SEAL team re-establishes contact with the control room from the same spot that O'Neill had pointed out. They are then immediately rescued, averting a major catastrophe. In the meantime, Senator DeHaven and her team goes through a laundry list of candidates for the Navy's CRT program. She rejects a triathlete for being extremely lean and a champion powerlifter for being muscular, almost like a man. She wants the female trainee to fit the traditional appearances of a woman so that she can prove that any woman can be a part of the Navy, and women don't always need to look physically strong to do so. Her eyes fall on Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill, who has impressive achievements of being an Olympic triathlon contender as well as academically excellent. She also fits DeHaven's bill of being traditionally feminine. After this hectic day at the work, Lieutenant O'Neill joins her fiancé, Lieutenant Commander Royce Harper, who is an operational officer for the Navy. He congratulates her for successfully navigating the sketchy situation, but also warns her not to get too involved in such matters, as she is not a soldier, but an intelligence officer. Just then, O'Neill receives a call and is asked to urgently meet Senator DeHaven in the latter's office. In the next scene, the senator gives the papers regarding the CRT program to O'Neill and explains what the whole deal is. She says that if O'Neill gets through this training, it will open the doors for women to join the Navy in the future. That night, the lieutenant returns to her home and discusses the idea with her fiancé, Royce, but he doesn't sound very enthusiastic about the idea for various reasons. For starters, the Navy CRT is an extremely difficult program that may leave O'Neill with long-lasting physical injuries. She will also have to share training and living space with several men who will undoubtedly objectify her, but if she gets selected somehow, she will be deployed in active duty for a long period of time. Royce says he may not have the patience to wait for her for so long,